Hi, good morning, and welcome to OxBridge Centre's first live broadcast math lesson. Today, this morning, we're going to be talking about maths and how to use it for cookery. In particular, today we're going to look at one of my favourite recipes, which is for edible cookie dough. And we're going to throw in some math skills to boot so that you can do all the conversions and everything necessary to learn how to cook that cookie dough. So you with me? Let's get started. So on the screen, I've just put the recipe. You might want to full screen the stream so that you can see everything in front of you. On the recipe, you'll see that it asks for some ingredients: 2 1/4 cups of flour, a cup of unsalted butter, TSP of salt, TSP of vanilla extract, TBSP of milk, and so on. And it gives some instructions, and lots of the values are in Fahrenheit. It gives different servings. This is quite difficult to measure. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at some of these measures. Lots of them are American measures, and work out how to convert them into units that we can use to cook the recipe. Okay. So the two different problems that we have with the recipe are the measures and volumes. Firstly, they're American, so the measures and volumes are all different. Cookie dough is a favourite recipe of Americans, so often the recipes that you find have everything in American measures. We're going to convert those today to British measures or to metric measures that we can use. Secondly, the recipes always give you the wrong amounts. This recipe gives you enough for 14 servings. Lots of recipes will give you enough for batches of 25 servings. And I know that at home, you'll only want to make enough, unless you're like me, for 1 or 2 servings for each person in your house. So we're going to learn today how to scale those servings up or down to make the right amount for us to eat at home. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to look at today is the weight and the volume. So I mentioned a little while ago in the recipe that it gives cups, pints, tablespoons, teaspoons, all of these different measures. Now these ones are all used for measuring volume. Volume is a measure of the amount of liquid that a container can hold. The only problem is, if you know how we normally measure volume, we normally measure volume in milliliters or liters. These are the metric values that we use. So we're going to look at how we can convert these American imperial measures to metric measures. Okay, now the way that imperial measures work is that they work related to each other. You'll see that 1 teaspoon is the smallest amount, and you have 3 of those teaspoons in 1 tablespoon. 16 of those tablespoons go into 1 cup, and 2 cups make 1 pint. So my first question, and the first thing that we're going to try and work out today, is how many teaspoons make up 1 pint. Okay, my hint to you, if you're trying to work this out, is we know that there are 2 cups in a pint, we know that there are 16 tablespoons in a cup, and we know that there are 3 tablespoons in a teaspoon. So what I'd like you to do is think about what operation you could use and try and work out how many teaspoons in a pint. Okay. The second question that I'm going to ask you to work on is, we've got the approximate amount in milliliters of 1 American pint. That's 480 milliliters. Once we know how many teaspoons are in 1 pint, what I'd like you to do is work out how many milliliters are in 1 teaspoon. Okay, that one is going to involve some division. I'm going to give you around 30 seconds to have a go at those ones. Welcome to pause the video now if you need some more time to work it out. and then we'll go through the answers afterwards. So you should be looking at the number of teaspoons and trying to multiply to try and get to 1 pint. Once you've worked out how many teaspoons are in 1 pint, then you're going to use that number and divide 480 millilitres, and that will give you the volume of 1 teaspoon. Just one small note here. 480 millilitres is the approximate value of a US pint. In the UK, pints are actually larger than that. Pints are about 560 millilitres in the UK. In the US, they're smaller. Okay, so you've had your 30 seconds. Maybe you put me on pause and you've unpaused me now. So let's have a look at how to work out how many teaspoons in a pint. I'm going to work through this backwards. So I'm going to start with 1 pint. 1 pint. I know that 1 pint, as it says on your screen, equals 2 cups. Okay? Now, the next fact that we know is 1 cup is 16 tablespoons. So to work out how many tablespoons in 1 pint, I need to multiply 2 cups by 16. Two times by 6 is 12. 1 times by 2 is 2, plus the 1 is 3. 32. 2 times 16 is 32. Next, so that's told us that 32 tablespoons in 1 pint. The next thing I need to do is multiply by how many teaspoons are in 1 tablespoon. So we know that there are 3 teaspoons in 1 tablespoon, so I'm going to multiply by 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. That gives me 96. Okay, 96. So that's the answer to question 1. There are 96 teaspoons, TSP, teaspoons in 1 pint. To work out how many millilitres are in a US teaspoon, I'm going to need to divide 480 by 96. That's going to be a tough one. 480 divided by 96. Now, lots of you won't know your 96 times tables. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some repeated addition. I'm going to keep adding 96 to work out my 96 times table. 96 plus 96 will give me 192. That's 96 times by 2. Plus 96 will give me 288. That's 96 times by 3. Plus another 96, that will give me 384. That's 96 times by 4. And then plus another 96, that will give me 480. So I know that 96 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives me 480. That means that each teaspoon contains 5 millilitres. Now, if you look on your measures at home, you'll notice that each teaspoon does contain 5 millilitres. And a tablespoon with 3 teaspoons in it contains around 15 millilitres. And these multiply up and down. Okay, so well done if you got those two correct. At the bottom of your page, you'll notice a challenge question. The challenge question asks you how many US pints are in a US teaspoon accurately. We worked with an approximate value there, but the actual value of a US pint is 473.16 millilitres. I'm not going to ask you to do that question now, but I'm going to ask you to do it after the lesson and send me your answers. There are a few challenge questions through this work, and I want to see your answers and your working out. And we'll go through those next week in next week's live stream. Okay. So we spoke a little bit just there about using those measures as volume. Okay, each of them measures volume of amounts. But in the recipe, you were supposed to measure things like sugar, butter, flour in cups. Now those things aren't usually measured by volume because they're solid things. Volume normally measures liquid. And there are a couple of problems when you try to measure solid things by volume. The main problem is that each of the solid things weighs a different amount. So if I got half a cup of butter or half a cup of flour or half a cup of chocolate, each of them would weigh a different amount. Normally, we'd weigh solid things to work out accurately how much they're worth. But when we're cooking, sometimes if you just fill up a cup with that thing, it's a bit quicker and a bit easier. Okay, just a short hint here as well. Measuring cups are different size to the normal cup that you might have at home, because if you've ever looked at some of the different mugs and cups that you have at home, they're all different sizes. Measuring cups are always the same size. And I'll tell you a bit of a shortcut to making a measuring cup in a little while. Okay, so here we've got some weights of different volumes, and a shout out to a website called King Arthur Flour. The link is just there in the slides. They have an ingredient weight chart on their website where a list of all of the different ingredients that you might want to use in cooking is listed, and it tells you how much 1 cup of each weighs. That's really helpful for helping you to work on cookery if you're not sure how to convert from cups to weight. So I got these weights from that website as well. But even then, we know how much half a cup of each of them is worth. And in the recipe, it said 2 cups of chocolate, 1.5 cups of sugar, and 2.25 cups of flour. So we need to work out how much each of those is in grams. I'll give you an example. The first one that I've not included there is 113 grams. Half a cup of butter is 113 grams. Now, in the recipe, we needed 1 whole cup of butter. So we need to work out how much 1 cup will be. Now, how could I get from half a cup to 1 cup? Well, I'd need to multiply. We should know that 2 halves is equal to 1. So we need to multiply by 2 to get 1 whole cup. So I'm going to multiply 113 by 2. And that will give me 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. And 2 times 1 is 2. 226 grams. Now, I'm going to give you 1 minute to work out the next 3 questions. How much will 2 cups of chocolate weigh? How much will 1.5 cups of sugar weigh? And how much will 2.25 cups of flour weigh? Off you go. Okay, well done. You've had your minute-long session just there to have a go at those questions, and we'll go through how to work those out just now. Now, the hint I gave you at the start was about multiplying, working out how many halves are in each amount, and then multiplying to get to the answer. And I'll show you what I mean just now. For the first question, 2 cups of chocolate. How many grams is 2 cups of chocolate? Well, we know that half a cup of chocolate is 85 grams. Okay. If I wanted to work out 1 cup of chocolate, well, we know that that's 2 halves. I'd need to multiply by 2. 85 times by 2 is 2 times 5 is 10, 2 times 8 is 16, plus the 1, 170 grams. To get 2 cups, I need to multiply by 2 again. Times by 2, 2 times 0, 0, 2 times 7, 14, 2 times 1, plus the 1, 3. 340 grams. 2 cups of chocolate, 340 grams. Well done if you got that one correct. Second question, 1.5 cups of sugar. 1.5 cups of sugar. Well, again, we know half a cup of sugar is 99 grams. Now you could have done this 2 ways. You might know that 1.5 is equal to 3 halves. If you knew that, then you could have multiplied 99 by 3 to work out the answer. 99 times by 3, well, 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 3 again is 27, plus 2 is 29. 297 grams. Well done if you got that correct. You could have done it a second way, and I'll show you that just now. You might know that half a cup is 99. You might know that 1 cup would be 2 times by 99, which is 198. Now, 1.5 means that you need to add another half a cup onto 198. So if you plus 99 on, that will give you the same answer of 297 grams. Well done if you got that one correct. The third question. Now this one was a bit trickier. And the reason that this one was a bit trickier was because I put in an extra bit of difficulty in there. I added in 1/4 cup or 2.25 cups of flour. So first what we'll do is we'll work out how much 2 cups of flour is. Well, half a cup is 60 grams. 1 cup, if you've worked out from before, we're multiplying by 2 to go from half to 1 cup. That'll give me 120 grams. To get to 2 cups, I need to multiply by 2 again. That'll give me 240 grams. A quick shortcut for this, to go straight from a half to 2 cups, instead of multiplying by 2 and multiplying by 2, some of you at home might have noticed that you can multiply by 4 and that's faster. But we've got that 1/4 cup left. We've got 240 grams, which is 2 cups, which is 2 cups. But we've got a 1/4 cup left. We'll go back to this. I know that half a cup is 60 grams. I know that there are 2 quarters in 1/2. So to get to 1/4, instead of multiplying this time, I'm going to need to divide by 2. A 1/4 cup then will be half of 60, which is 30. And I can add that on. 240 add 30, 270 grams. Well done if you got that one correct. That one was quite a bit trickier than the other ones. So we've worked out the weights needed for all of the measures in the recipe. We've got 270 grams of flour needed. We've got 297 grams of sugar needed. We've got 340 grams of chocolate needed, and we've got 226 grams of butter needed. I've written those down, and they'll be in the comments below. There's a link to the resources, so you'll be able to find all the weights and the recipe there too. At the bottom there's the challenge question for this one. maybe a trick question. I've got 100 grams of flour and 100 grams of butter. Which one is heavier? Remember, these challenge questions are for you to work on at home after this lesson. And then send me your answers. Okay, the next thing that was tricky was temperature. In American recipes, they tend to use Fahrenheit instead of Celsius. And it's quite tricky to convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius. There's this formula here that we need to use to do it. And it looks quite tricky. It's got lots of letters. C equals F minus 32 times by 5/9. Okay, that looks hard. But actually, it's really straightforward once you know what to do. The first step that you need to do, is minus 32. The second step that you need to do is multiply by 5/9. Now, those of you that are confident with multiplying fractions will know to times by a fraction, you need to multiply by the numerator and divide by the denominator. And you can do those in either order. I'll show you what I mean. For the example question, we've got 50 Fahrenheit. So I'm going to do 50, the first step, minus 32. Okay, I'm going to do it in the column method to show you how I do that subtraction. 50 minus 32, well, 0 take away 2, we can't do it without carrying. So 10 take away 2 I've exchanged there is 8, 4 take away 3 is 1, so that's 18. That's the first step done. The Fahrenheit 50 take away 32 gave me 18. Now I need to do times by 5/9. Well, I can do that in two ways. I can either times by 5 first and then divide by 9, or I can divide by 9 first and then times by 5. I'm going to choose to divide by 9 first, and the reason I'm going to do that is because I know that 18 is on the 9 times table, so it's easy for me to divide. So I'm going to do it straight away. 18 divided by 9, well, I know that 2 times 9 is 18, so it must be 2. The last step then is to multiply by 5, times by 5, and I know that that's 10. So the answer will be 10 degrees C. So to work out these problems, we need to do those steps. First, you minus 32 from the Fahrenheit. Then you multiply by 5/9. And you can choose to times by 5 first, then divide by 9 using bus stop method. Or you can choose to divide by 9 first and then times by 5. Okay, we've got 4 questions on the board there. I'm going to give you 1 minute to have a go at them. Feel free to pause the video if you need a little bit longer. Off you go. Okay, that minute's up. Feel free to pause the video if you need some more time. And I'll go through the answers just now. Okay. So, remembering our steps, first we're going to minus 32, then we're going to multiply by 5/9. 41 Fahrenheit was first, so I'm going to do 41 Fahrenheit, take away 32. 1 take away 2, well that doesn't go because that'll give us a negative number, so I need to exchange. 11 take away 2 is 9, 3 take away 3 is 0. So first I've got 9. Now I can choose times by 5 or divide by 9. I'm going to choose to divide by 9 because I know that 9 is divided by 9 is 1. And 1 times 5 will give me 5 degrees C. Well done if you got that correct. Okay, the second question. This one was trickier because it had a decimal in it. Okay, 35.6 take away 32. Now to subtract this, I need to remember to put my decimal point on the end. Remember to line them up in the correct columns. 6 take away 0 is 6, decimal point. 5 take away 2 is 3, 3 take away 3 is 0. Okay, then I'm going to multiply by 5/9. Now some of you might be able to divide 3.6 by 9, and well done if you can. I'm going to choose to multiply by 5 first because I feel like that will make it a little bit easier for me to do the division. So I'm going to do that first. 3.6 times by 5. 6 times 5 is 30. Remember to put the decimal point in the same position in the column. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 3 is 18. Oh great, now I've got 18, I can divide by 9 easily. 18 divided by 9 is 2, and that will give me 2 degrees C. So see how when I was multiplying by the fraction, I chose whether to multiply by the numerator or divide by the denominator first. This time I chose to multiply, last time I chose to divide. Let's see what we'll choose to do and what the smart choice is this time. And you can do it any way that you feel comfortable. 59 degrees Fahrenheit, so 59 take away 32, 9 take away 2 is 7, 5 take away 3 is 2, 27. Those of you who know your 9 times table, 27 is 3 times 9. So 27 divided by 9 is 3. Times that by 5, that will give me 15 degrees Celsius. Well done if you're getting these correct at home, good work. And last but not least, now this one looks tricky because the numbers are much bigger, 158 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to take away 32. 8 take away 2 is 6. 5 take away 3 is 2. 1 take away 0 is 1. 126. Now I'm going to struggle to divide that by 9 quickly, so I'm going to times by 5 first. You could choose to do it either way. 126 times by 5. 6 times 5 is 30. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 3, 13. 5 times 1 is 5, plus the 1 is 6. 630. Now to divide 630 by 9, I could use the bus stop method. And well done if you chose to use that one. But I noticed straight away that 63, because I know my 9 times table, is on the 9 times table. 63 is 7 times 9. 630 is 10 times bigger than 63. So I need to do 7 and then add the 0 on the end to make it 10 times bigger. 70 times 9 is 630. So 630 divided by 9 is 70. Quick method just there. Well done if you got all of those questions correct. We've got one more here. One more temperature conversion. This is the real deal. Those are practice. This one's the hard one now. In the recipe, it asks for baking at 350.6 degrees Fahrenheit. How many degrees Celsius is that? Pause it just here. I'm going to work it out straight away. 350.6 take away 32. Remember to pause it if you want to work it out on your own. You can work it out with me if not. 32. You need to remember to put the decimal place in just here. 6 take away 0 gives us 6. 0 take away 2, I can't do that, so I'm going to exchange. 10 take away 2 gives me 8. 4 take away 3 gives me 1. 3 take away nothing gives me 3. 318.6. I'm going to choose to multiply by 5 next. Multiply by 5. Okay. 0, 3, remember to put the decimal point in. A bit larger. 5 times 8 is 40, plus the 3 is 43. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. 5 times 3 is 15. Oh, this is a big one. 1,593. I'm going to clear the board a little bit. The last stage that we need to do now is divide by 9. 1,593 divide by 9. I am going to use the bus stop method for this one. Okay, 9's into 1, 0. 1 is smaller than 9. 9's into 15, well, 9 times table, 9, 18. So it's going to be 1 times 9. I'm going to carry 6. 9's into 69, that's 7. It's going to carry 6. 9's into 63, goes 7 times. So the answer, 177 degrees Celsius. That's the temperature you're going to need to have your oven at to bake the flour before you do your cookie dough making. Okay, now you might want to do it at 177 degrees C. On my cooker, I wouldn't be able to set it to that. So we need to approximate. Approximately to the nearest 10, I'd say that's about 180 degrees C. So you're going to need to bake your flour at 180 degrees C using your oven. Okay, great. I forgot to mention your 2 challenge questions at the bottom. So again, these are to do later at home, and please send me your answers and your working. The first challenge is, I found out this week that tungsten is the metal with the highest melting point, and that's 3,422 degrees C. What is this in Fahrenheit? A little hint here is that we were working and converting from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So to go the other way around, you're going to need to do the inverse. Okay, and then the second challenge question for this one is, at what temperature are both Fahrenheit and Celsius the same? There is one temperature and one temperature only. Can you find it and show me your working? Okay, next, quantity. How much does the recipe make? Well, our recipe for cookie dough gives us 14 servings. Okay, so what we need to do is work out how many servings you're going to need at home. And I've given 3 examples here. You might have 4 people that have 7 servings in one go. You might have 7 people with 5 servings each, or 3 people with enough for a serving a day for a fortnight. A fortnight is 2 weeks. To work out how many servings each need, you're going to need to multiply. So in the example 1, 4 people and 7 servings, do 4 times 7. Okay. Then what we need to do is to scale up or down the amounts that we've got for our recipe. So say I wanted 28 servings. The recipe tells me we've got enough for 14 servings. Okay. So to get from 14 to 28 servings, to scale up, you need to multiply or divide. 14s to 28, I need to multiply by 2. To make this process easier for yourselves at home, when you're choosing the amount of servings that you want to make, you could choose to make the 14 of the recipe, or if you wanted to make a precise amount for everybody at home, try and make it into a multiple of 7. So everybody gets 7 servings, for example, or 1 serving every day for a week. And that will make it a bit easier to do this scaling up or scaling down. But before we get onto that, what I'd like you to do is to work out the amount in grams of chocolate chips that everybody is going to, so each of the examples above, number 1, 2 and 3, the amount of grams of chocolate chips that each of the examples will need for their recipe. Okay, so we've worked out how to work out what to do. If we've got 14 servings in the recipe and we've got 28 needed, we're going to need to multiply by 2 and do the same on this side. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to have a go at those questions. If you need more time, feel free to pause it now. Okay, great work. Again, if you need more time, feel free to pause it. I'm going to go through the answers just now. Okay, so for that first example, 4 people, 7 servings in one go, we knew that we had 28 servings altogether. 14 times by 2 is 28. So we need to do 340 times by 2 to work out the amount of chocolate chips that we need for this recipe. 340 times by 2 is 680 grams. Well done if you got that one correct. The next question, number 2, 7 people, 5 servings each. 7 times by 5 equals 35. Okay. This one again is a bit trickier. We know that 14 is 340. To scale up for this one, I'm going to work out how many servings for 7 people, because I know that then I can go straight to 35 by timesing by 5. So what I did there was I did 14 divided by 2 is 7. 340 divided by 2 is 170. And then I multiply by 5 to work out how much I need for 35 servings. 170 times by 5. Let's work that out now. 7 times 5 is 35. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 3 is 8. 850. Fantastic. Remember the units, 850 grams. For the third one, we might need to do the same process. We might need to go down to 7 servings and then back up. Let's check. So, 3 people, enough for a serving for a day for a fortnight. How many days in a fortnight? Well, fortnight is 2 weeks. 2 weeks is 14 days. 3 people, all of them get a serving for all of those 14 days. So it's 3 times by 14. That will give me 42. 14 times by 3 is 42, so I don't need to scale down to 7 first. So I need to do 340 times by 3 to get to the answer. 340 times by 3, 0 times 3 is 0. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 3 is 9, plus the 1 is 10. 1,020 grams. Wow, that's 1.02 kilograms. That's a lot of chocolate chips. Or I suppose it is for 42 servings. So that kind of makes sense. Okay, well done if you got those ones correct. Those scaling up and scaling down questions are tricky. So like I say, make sure that if you are wanting to make a different amount than 14 servings, you try and make the amount that you're going to make enough so that everybody gets 7 or 14 each. That way it will make it a lot easier to scale up or scale down for yourself. Okay, the challenge question then that I've got for you guys is, what is the precise amount of each ingredient that you'll need for everyone at home to get 2 servings? Okay, I want the precise amounts. Can you work it out at home? Show me your working, please. I'm excited to see it. Okay, so today we've looked at how to convert all of the amounts of servings. We looked at how to convert the cups to grams. Just as a quick hint, if you're looking for a way to make a measuring cup because you don't have measuring cups at home, or you don't have weighing scales at home, a quick way to make a measuring cup is, we know that 1 cup is about 240 milliliters. If you cut a drinks bottle, a 500 milliliter drinks bottle, in half, it gives you about the right size for 1 measuring cup. So that's a good hint if you need to make a measuring cup at home. We worked out the temperature we needed, which is 177 degrees C. And I'm going to talk you through the recipe now. It's really straightforward. First of all, you need to heat up your oven to that 177 degrees C and bake your flour for 12 minutes. And the only reason you're baking your flour is to get rid of any germs that are in it, because this is for raw edible cookie dough. So you don't need to make the cookies afterwards. Once you've done that, you take it out. You get some butter that's a little bit melted and you mix the butter with the sugar. Then you add in the vanilla essence, the salt and the milk. And remember, you can use substitutes for the butter like margarine or oat milk or soy milk if you wanted to. And then you can mix them all together. Finally, you add the flour and then you make it just combined. At this point, it's quite like a dough. And then you stir in your chocolate chips. Actually, when I made it at home, I used some marshmallows and they were delicious. You can substitute the chocolate chips for anything else that you want. And choose any sweet treats at home that you've got lying around. I chose this recipe because it's one that lots of people will have some of these ingredients at home. So choose anything. You don't need to put in chocolate chips. You can just have the dough itself, or you can choose to use something else. If you've got any other sweet treats that you'd like to go into it, you can do that instead. You can then eat it as it is. You can eat it straight away, or you can pop it in the fridge or the freezer, which makes it a bit like ice cream, to eat later. So you can go ahead and get cooking. Today we looked at converting and using US cooking units, converting Fahrenheit to Celsius, and scaling up or down to get the right quantity. I put the link to the recipe and the challenge questions in the notes for this video below. There should be a link to give you the resources that I put on the website, and that has the recipe in it, the challenge questions, and any questions that you didn't get to do through this video. I'd love to see some photos of your finished cookie dough. Please send it to us, and follow us on social media for any other great activities. Please also send us your answers for the challenge questions, and we'll go through the answers next week. I'll see you next time.